Greetings YouTube, welcome back to the Meteor channel. I'm Marcus, bringing you another video for Cardfight Vanguard Overdress. In this video, we will be wrapping up DBT07 card reviews and hopefully catch up with the speed of Bushido revealing cards. This video will be wrapping up DBT07 as mentioned before. If I do miss certain cards, feel free to let me know down in the comment section, and hopefully I will just make another video like a fast catch up on all the cards that I actually missed. I know I missed quite a few cards even before DBT07. Let's take a look at the final releases for DBT07. First off, we have Meteor Flare Dragon. Auto, when this unit is placed on rearguard circle, until the end of turn, all of your opponent's rearguard lose all of their continuous abilities and cannot gain them. Then, cast Counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's rearguard in the same column as this unit and retire it. Second skill, continuous rearguard circle. During your turn, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater and they have no rearguards, this unit gets 10k power. So this is basically a very nice unit to be played in Dragon Empire as a whole. No rearguard is safe with this card around now. And it is also the answer for Eugene to restand, because Eugene's support, but in particularly the Oswald, he needs to check whether the opponent has rearguards or not. If they don't have any rearguards, then Eugene can restand. The best example here is that Trickstar will prevent you from retiring itself because he's basically a resist unit. So with this card around, just place him in the same column as the Trickstar, and Trickstar will basically lose the resist skill. And there are other cards that can be shut down from this card, which is actually very nice. And hopefully we do not see any more power creeping skills that actually overwrite this card. So it's generally a very bad idea, but this card I think it is an okay card. This card being at 20k is slightly better than the average rearguard, provided if your opponent is at grade 3 and they do not have any rearguards. Normally in certain scenarios you might not get the 10k, but still if you do get the 10k, it's actually very nice. This card I think it's geared more towards Eugene, because the other decks don't really want this card to be in their deck because of space issues, but I think Eugene is sufficient with this card. It's actually very nice card. Moving on to Cater Sanctuary, we have the Order promo for Thegrea, Oath of Revenge Thegrea. And of course, you can only play this card if you have Thegrea as a Vanguard. Continuous Order Zone. If you have a Vanguard with Thegrea in its card name, you draw 2 cards instead of 1 for personal right, and its power increase becomes 15k instead of 10k. So this card is an offensive and defensive buff to Thegrea by giving it a draw 2 cards, potentially draw into defensive units, as well as giving the front row an extra 5k from your personal rights, which means that all of your front row is going to attack for a 15k plus to their own power, which is super disgusting because Thegrea is one of the most easiest to personal right. So I guess this is very disgusting. And what's more, the interesting part here is that this card is actually searchable with grade 2 Thegrea, because the grade 2 Thegrea only states they need to have Thegrea or Maple. So this card having the Thegrea name is actually a very nice card to be searched out from the grade 2 skill. And since this is a grade 3, you will want to set this up as soon as possible on your 3rd turn, meaning your grade 3 turn, because if you don't set this up beforehand, the turn where you personal right, you only get the 15k, you don't get to draw 2 cards, which is very sad. And also, since Thegrea is a deck that generally outgrinds the opponent, you might want to be careful, because this actually accelerates the decking up potential, because you are drawing 2, and not to mention Thegrea does drive checks quite a lot, and not to mention you do draw a lot with this card. So be very careful as you don't deck yourself out. So just kill your opponent before you deck out. That's basically the plan. Next up, we have Divine Sister Palmier. Auto, when this unit is placed on rearguard from hand, if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, cast Counterblast 1, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, put them on top of your deck in any order. I mean, this is like a very Exo Orb-ish support, but then again, since this card does not lock behind a Hexa Orb, it's actually usable in any deck within Cater Sanctuary. But Counterblast as of now is a very important resource in the whole Overdress or Wheeldress format. So most likely a skip. I mean, yeah, you can use this inside Hexa Orb deck, but then again, why would you? Probably skipping this if I would do say so myself. Next, we have Force Toll Arrow Dragon. Auto, when this unit is put on Guardian Circle, if your Vanguard is being attacked, cast Counterblast 1, and this unit gets 5k shield until the end of that battle for every 2 units on your Vanguard and Rearguard Circle. So some defensive unit for Bastion, since this is a grade 3, but still, once again, Counterblast is very important. I mean, this is not really for Bastion, because it does not really says you need to have a Bastion Vanguard, but still, why would you want to run this card? Yeah, skipping this card is the best way to go. Next, we have Impacting Knight Maledi. Auto rearguard circle. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, choose one of your opponent's rearguard and put it on the bottom of their deck. This card is actually like the hidden gem of the whole support card for Cater Sanctuary. Not only does this unit is free, you're able to board control the opponent and basically pressure your opponent into deciding whether or not they want to guard. If they guard, sure, they lose their hand. If they no guard, they lose a rear guard. So, but this could sometimes backfire because as we all know, there are certain decks that basically superior call stuff from the deck. So if they actually superior call back an over trigger or basically any trigger, because this is a mandatory return back to bottom deck. So if the opponent lets you attack hit, yeah, that over trigger or basically any trigger will be going to the bottom of the deck. So it could sometimes backfire, but generally that scenario is very, very rare. Do take note of this. I think this card is very, very good. Next for Stoicheia, we have Silverhorn Beast Tigarta. Auto front row rear guard circle. When your other units in the same column as this unit attacks, that unit gets 10k power until the end of that battle. So this is basically anti-Alter, the card that we actually previously talked about. These two have almost the same skill. It's just that Tigarta here does not cost 2 Soul Blast, so it's actually very, very nice, which also explains why this is Tigarta is a rare and anti-Alter is a common. So this card is actually not that bad. Just that, do you want to run this inside a already tight Magnolia deck? I don't think so. Next, we have Noblesse Frit, continuous rear circle. During your turn, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit gets 5k power. Yeah. Skip. Just skip this. Even Leonore does not want you. For Brandgate, this is basically just wrapping up all the CEO stuff. Blitz Accounting Manager Zoldeo. Auto rear circle. When your mobile fortress of obliteration Friendship maximum is operated, if you did not countercharge this turn, cost Soul Blast 1 and countercharge 1. Yeah, see, I think this is the most important employee for the Blitz company. You do use quite a bit of counterblast, so with this giving you this countercharge, I think it's very, very valuable. And not to mention, you don't really use that much soul, so this card, I think it's very, very nice. After seeing this card in action, this card is probably the best MVP for the deck. I'm sorry, Friendship Maximum, you're not really that important, but this card is actually really important for this deck. And not to mention, this card can be kept safe with Friendship Maximum skill, since Friendship Maximum needs to return a rear guard upon operating Friendship Maximum. You could just return Zoldeo back to hand and then, you know, keep him safe, and you can just like countercharge the next turn, which is super, super nice. Next is Blitz Top Sales Unlerg. Active rear guard circle. If you have a Vanguard with Wellstra in its card name, cost retire this unit. Search your deck for or drop for up to 1 Heavy Strike Cannon Fortress Friendship or Mobile Fortress of Obliteration Friendship Maximum. Reveal it and put it into your hand, and if you search from a deck, shuffle your deck. This basically helps you setting up your extra Friendship to the order zone, be it the grade 2 or the grade 3. I don't think you'll want the grade 3 to be in your hand, because you can't really play Friendship Maximum from your hand anyway, so most likely the grade 2. And if you do personal right, you can just replace the grade 2 Friendship with the grade 3 Friendship Maximum. This is getting very confusing. I hope you're following me. And of course, it is possible to have more than one maximum on the field, which is super disgusting. And not only that, you're able to conserve your hand size a little bit, which is actually very nice. And what's more, this also filters one card out from the deck if you do choose to search from the deck, that is. Of course, you can search this out from the drop zone if you find yourself out of those order cards, but still, it's a nice card to be played. But at this point in time, this card does not really pull its own value for the time being. Who knows what we will get in the near future. Lastly, for Brandgate, we have Blitz Security Wachten. Although when this unit is put on Guardian Circle, if your auto zone has a product card, this unit gets 5k shield until the end of that battle. I mean, this card can be skipped. It's just like a generic 10k shield, but then again, since we don't really have like a lot of Blitz card, I think for now you can run this inside Blitz CEO deck for now. But still, I don't think you will want this card because there are tons of better cards out there. For example, Combine Rusher and very insane card, and also any card can be better than this if I'm not mistaken. And lastly, of course, we have the order card for Michu, Light That Shines on Solitude. And of course, this does lock you into having Michu Vanguard in order to play this card. You perform one of the following: search your deck for up to 1 unit card with no Kuno in its card name, discard it, and shuffle your deck. If you have a back row center rear guard with no Kuno in its card name, countercharge 1. So this is basically a consistency card for you to getting the no Kuno to the drop zone if you don't already have no Kuno. And of course, you do need the emergency countercharge. I mean, Michu do use quite a bit of counterblast, so I guess this card card with the counter charge is actually very nice. And also there's a small interaction that you might need to be aware, because no Kuno does check whether or not you have a rearguard with no Kuno in its card name. Only then you're able to call no Kuno out. So you do need to be careful on which effect you're using. But then again, I don't think it's that big of an issue. It's just me trying to remind the Michu players out there, you need to be aware of this stuff. And hopefully you don't like misplay during your important tournament. That's basically what I'm hoping to prevent. So yeah, that's basically it. And that is all for this video. Do let me know down in the comment section on what do you think for these support for DBT07. Do like and subscribe if you like this video, and of course during the bell notification icon so that you don't miss a video I upload. With that being said, I'll see you all on the field.